Welcome to a brand new series. This is going to be a pretty simple one. Once a week, I'm going to play a rental team, probably two to five battles, somewhere around there, depends how much I like the team. This week, we're going to be playing a Calyrex Terrapagos team. In a very crude sense, the team really focuses on finding opportunities for your Smeargle to set spores and to do decorates. I can't remember the poor bloke's name. I remembered it. Ashton Cox used this, well, not this team, but something very similar at NAIC. I know that Ashton Cox was at least using a very similar team, and that's pretty cool. One of the specific texts that he brought up was the relationship between Terrapagos and Calyrex, being able to switch Calyrex in on a move like Close Combat and gain massive boosts is really a great way to swing games. Speaking of swinging games, what I'm thinking is I'm probably going to use Smeargle up front, since nothing in the front really threatens Smeargle. And they don't necessarily have any particular way of guaranteeing safety against spores, which is my type of dub, in my opinion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Smeargle next to Terrapagos. That's going to be a pretty clean way to start the game off. I'm just going to double check what moves we have. Yeah, obviously the fake out pressure is nice. It forces Indeedee to the front. But more than that, obviously I'm going to put Calyrex in the back. But more than that, it's mostly about having the opportunity to set up a decorate if I get the opportunity. If I can set up a decorate, switching in the Chi-Yu should be enough to pick up KOs, assuming they're not Terra Normal. But because I am a little bit skeptical of my matchup into Terra Normal, I might look into a better solution. In this case, probably just the Whimsicott. I mean, the plan is simple. You know, decorate, terrestrialize, damage. And then late game I can use Tailwind and Astral Barrage to clean up. That's more or less my plan. The concern I have with this lead, obviously I can fake out either of these Pokemon, though the risk is that either of them could be Cobra Cloak, either of them could be Terra Ghost. That is very feasible on both. What I can't do, I'll actually double check the speed interactions here. I am faster with Smeargle, meaning I can decorate Terrapagos, terrestrialize, and probably win. And probably just win off that alone. I'm a little skeptical about making an over-aggressive play like that, so what I'll do is I'll save my terrestrialization for now, and prevent myself from taking too much damage with, ooh, that's a bit scary. And prevent myself taking too much damage with Terrapagos up front. It still does quite a lot of damage. Does Smeargle get burnt? That's a big deal. No. I get the decorate off. Specs decorated Terra Starstorm should easily pick up the KO into Charizard here. Boom, obviously that's not surprising at all. It's just great to see that that's already happened. And I've preserved my Terra, which is really important, since what I can do now is I can say, so they're always going to have to use a Psychic type move or Bleak Wind or something like that to actually do the damage. I think this game actually might just be as good as over. And of course that's probably the reason I'm going to find a way to lose, but at this point, Terra Starstorm's just going to pick up the KO into everything. The intention might be to use fire type moves with Solgaleo, but I just don't really fear that at all, since I do have a little bit of defense investment on the Terrapagos, but even then, I'm more so banking on the massive increase in health. And of course, if they are using fire type moves, then great, but also follow me. Like, everything should be going my way. I don't see how Solgaleo can do anything to win this game. Sunsteel Strike, that's going to take out my poor old, what's it called? Smeargle? So, I think this game is mostly over. That doesn't mean it's over though. +3 Terra Starstorm, is that going to pick up KOs? Yes, it is. Boom. Oh, that is disgusting. If the game wasn't over already, it definitely is now. At this point, I'm mostly here just to set up a tail. Actually, do I even need to set up a Tailwind? What I can do is I can fake Tears and just say, hey, you've got to play ball. Because there's no chance Calyrex is picking up a KO here. And even if it does, I should have a good way to beat Calyrex if it does take the KO. So what I'll do is I'll just fake Tears and Terra Starstorm. They do terrestrialize. That's, I guess it could be Terra Psychic or something like that, where it uses its oh, interesting. Is it going to be Terra Blast? That'd be really cool, actually. Fake Tears goes off. That should seal the game no matter what. Cool, they Terra Blast. That is game. This game is well and truly over. I hate Encore for the record. Oh wait, it's never. Yeah, the game is over actually. Just not for the reasons I thought it'd be. That's pretty cool. I didn't even think I had a chance to survive that. Cool, that's game. That's massive. What I can do is I can just Moonblast in Terra Starstorm. That guarantees that they're never getting the KO. The KOs that they need, sorry. It might take a second, but this game is over. And the battle is cancelled. That's great. Lovely. I'll see you for the next one. Okay. This is going to be a interesting matchup. So, we've got, obviously Miraidon's a big deal. It's a spooky Pokemon, does the damage. I'm not going to be able to spore as easily, which is a big deal. But what I have in terms of advantage is, well, okay, my thought is, what's preventing me from just leading Terapagos with Smeargle again? I'm Terra Grass actually, so they can absolutely fake out Smeargle if they so see fit. So I do have a little bit of thinking to do here. How do I want to do this? Well, okay. Here's what I'm thinking, and maybe I'm off base, but if I do more or less the same game plan as before, I should have a good matchup into most of their team. They're not necessarily going to be inclined to set up Trick Room too aggressively, since if they're not faking out both slots, they're going to lose. That is one of the leads I thought might be possible, but mine is like Taunt Grimmsnarl. I have no real reason not to just go for a Spore into a Spore or a Decorate. It's not really relevant which one of the two it is. Actually, it is relevant, because what I can do is I can just Terra Starstorm Grimmsnarl and then Spore at the Calyrex. My concern is that I just don't see myself picking up that KO any amount of the time. I guess what I could do is I could Dark Pulse or something like, I could do something like Dark Pulse, but that's just not feeling very good. You know what? I'm gonna lock it in. I'm gonna go for the Spore into Calyrex and just say, hey, you have to respect the threat that I'm putting down, because if you don't, you're gonna lose. Of course, it could be safety goggles, but if that's the case, that's that. There's really not a lot I can do. Good, they're asleep. That is what we needed. I've not had... I don't think Grimmsnarl gets Encore or anything like that. Cool, my defense goes up. I'm all good with that. Special defense go down. I'm okay with that. For now, I've still got a certain level of advantage because I'm not had the Terra Shell broken. Actually, I have had the Terra Shell broken. That's an oopsies pooies for me. If Calyrex wakes up here, that will be a very unfortunate, unforced error for me. But hey, it happens. Mistakes are mistakes, and there's nothing you can do about it. Do I get a crit here? Maybe? No. Well, I am Specs, actually. You know what? Maybe I'm putting a little bit, not enough value into this Terapagos. Because it is doing a lot of the hard work. Attack rises. Special attack doesn't. Look, as long as I'm not getting speed drops, I'm not too concerned. The fact that Calyrex is asleep and it's kind of dooming the game is really massive for me. What I'll do is I'll Terra Starstorm and Spore into Iron Hands. Since that should guarantee no matter what, I'm getting a Spore off this turn. Unless Iron Hands is somehow faster than Smeargle and it has Volt Switch. But that is essentially not even, like, that's not even in the cards. Let's be real. Fake out, that's fine. Keeping it in control is really important. I do have the defense boost, which is really nice. So it should buy me an opportunity to... Wowee, that's a lot of damage. To do what I need to do. Wake Up is unfortunate Trick Room. Yeah, it is what it is. We always knew that was a possibility. Speed Drop would be crazy here, but I don't think it's going to matter much. I didn't really think about my... about my Trick Room matchup very much. So this is kind of the price I'm paying for that mistake. I'll just follow me Terra Starstorm. There's no point overcooking here, since it is very possible that I'll be able to survive 2 attacks depending on the order of attacks. If it's a Glacial Lance into close combat, I'll get 1 more turn of offense. Well, no matter what, this turn, it shouldn't realistically... You know what? I think I'm in a really good position here. In theory, it should always be close combat Glacial Lance. I'll take a bit of damage, but it shouldn't really amount to anything that I can't handle, or at least can't get a favorable trade on. It's more about ensuring that I'm not taking a close combat where it matters most. Drain Punch doesn't pick up the knockout. That was the important detail. They do get a fair bit of health back, so I'm not sure if I'll have enough damage, which is a bit scary. That being said, if I'm picking up a double knockout here, the game's over. I think this game's over, actually. I don't think it really matters how they do this. I mean, Trick Room's going to last for a while, so I kind of need this to be a double knockout, but in theory, as long as that goes my way. Missing the KO on Calyrex is a bit spooky, but I should be okay. The concern I have is that there's not really any way for me to safely pressure. Actually, that's not true. Yeah, they have Miraidon in the back. The first attack didn't actually do that much damage. I suspect I can survive a Glacial Lance as long as it's dual target. It would be a real tragedy if I actually got outsped here. No point giving up Calyrex. Of course, we protect. It's going to go through perfectly. No reason it wouldn't. The real question is Glacial Lance doing as little as I think it's going to do? Because it didn't do nothing. It picks up the KO. That's game. It's unfortunate. I took a fair bit of damage on that first one. I didn't think it would amount to as much as it did. But of course, here we are. +2 Calyrex. I have no chance of beating that. Wait, what? I have a chance. It's not over yet. They just knocked out the Pokemon that was threatening me. I'm confused now. I'm really confused. How do I win this consistently? Trick Room for 2 turns. I don't think I'm going down to a single attack here. They're probably just Terra. Oh no, they'd be Terra Electric actually, because they're going for Parabolic. Obviously, there's no point going for Encore here. It's just wasted damage. Sorry, yeah, it would be wasted damage. Like, I'm not literally. So if I'm getting a special attack drop here, I could be in a massive position. Crit's pretty good, and a special attack drop. Holy! Couldn't have asked that to go much better. What is it, like Solfest? I mean, that makes sense. That crit didn't really do that much damage. So what I'm thinking the most logical way to do this is just protect here, get through the Tailwind. If I'm them, it's probably just Parabolic Charge, just to see if you can claw back a little bit of health, since you didn't actually take much damage on that turn. If I'm crunching them with another special, yeah, oh my god, holy, I am goated. And that's not to say I'm skilled, that's just to say I'm getting crazy lucky. They do go for the Parabolic Charge, which is what I would have done. We know that they're not Scarf, so I outspeed them, meaning the most logical way to approach this is just to fake Tears and Astral Barrage and pick up as much damage as I can across time, since realistically I can actually close this out with Whimsicott, since it doesn't look like this Miraidon actually has the capacity to beat me in terms of actually taking out the Whimsicott. Snarl, it's a reasonable play. The miss into Whimsicott really just doesn't matter. It's just me getting absurdly lucky for like the 50th time. I'm not sure how much that second special attack drop mattered, but I know that it's going to definitely let me close this game out. There you go. I probably didn't deserve to win that game, but being able to come through and clutch that, it's pretty nice. So, I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. Okay, so we're facing Kalizam with the Chien-Pao's probably the biggest threat right now. They have no way of preventing Spores. So if I put Calyrex in the front, I'm pretty well forced to Terrastalize, which will make it an anti-synergy with the Terrapagos, which I don't love. If I'm leading Whimsicott Terrapagos though, then in theory, what I can do is I can, do I like that play? I mean, it's not a bad play. Let's get that right. I'm a bit concerned that I won't be able to actually do anything in that position, especially if they lead Zamazenta, because the wide guard becomes a massive problem. The problem is if they're leading Tornadus, then it just comes down to a speed tie either way. But if they make a misplay, then I can just Encore them in and then pivot Terrapagos to the field and then use probably just bring Chiyu in the back as a good way to beat Zamazenta. Urshifu Tornadus lead is interesting. It could be Scarf. That would probably be the big thing that spooks me here. I'm not so concerned about going down in one hit. If we match Tailwinds, then I'm going to be in an awkward position, I guess. is what I'm thinking. And if it's, you know, if it's Scarf, I can't set up, so I'll play it really straightforward. My Tailwind goes first. If they're doing anything but that, then I'm going to be in a great position. Yep, they Tailwind, that makes sense. I'm not sure what this Calyrex is trained to survive, but I probably have a good chance to survive a Surging Strikes, if I'm being real. Cool, that's a really massive way to start the game. They do Surging Strikes, and I have no chance of surviving that. Oh, that murders me. That's brutal. What I can do though, and this is a massive advantage of my position, is I can take a very clean double knockout here using Terapagos. Or Chi-Yu for that matter, it doesn't really matter. It isn't so much about which one's more effective, since Chi-Yu should be picking up a KO no matter what. I can always just Encore lock him in. I prefer Chi-Yu as a late game cleaner. That's kind of why I brought it. It's just to come in at the last second and pick up some important KOs. Basically, the long and short of this turn is Encore the Urshifu to guarantee that it's not picking up more damage than I want it to. I'll double check. There's no reason to fuss too much. I should probably figure out what his speed stat is quickly just to be sure. You know what? I'm gonna make a slightly riskier play. It may not be worth it if I get this wrong, but I should beat Tornadus' speed. Oh, not Tornadus. I should beat Urshifu's speed. I do. Had I gone for something like Terastallization too aggressively, I could be in a position where picking up KOs would be too difficult. From here, I can at least pray to keep Terapagos safe. I'm gonna switch Chi-Yu in. Terastallize, I think, is probably the safest play. Yeah, I don't see myself Terastallizing anything else. That's for sure. Chi-Yu to the field. Terastallize. Terra Starstorm, that means Zamazenta can't do anything this turn. I've already taken their Urshifu. If I'm taking Tornadus this turn, then I'm going to be in a pretty massive advantage. I'm ahead, and I want to keep pushing forward. They do Wide Guard, that's not a huge deal, since I'm getting Chi-Yu in safely. Meaning I can now aggressively attack the Zamazenta. Wait, that puts me in a really good position, actually. I didn't realize how amazing my position is. Also, Terapagos is moving first, which is interesting. No speed drops on the Chi-Yu. Cool. From here, the safest play is just overheat Terra Starstorm. Terastallize Wide Guard is probably their best play. I mean, maybe I should have probably thought about switching Terapagos here to punish it, because yeah, this is unnecessarily committed. Heat Wave wouldn't have worked either. It's okay. What I can do next turn is I can just pivot Whimsicott in and keep pushing the offense. They protect, which means they're not wide guarding, which is massive. Overheat, how much damage? That's pretty respectable. I am going to need to pivot Chi-Yu out pretty quick here. Do I have a chance of swapping single? I do! Wow. Starstorm. Into Zamazenta. Show me the KO! Boom. That's a KO. That's pretty good. I like that. So, Zamazenta's out of the way. That's probably the biggest threat. The opposing team's Tailwind peters out. My Tailwind peters out. And I'm left in a really important situation. Calyrex is coming to the field. I think I have a pretty clean win con here. Pivot Whimsicott to the field and Terra Starstorm. From here, we're basically just saying Tailwind Psychic is probably their best play. And there's probably no point trying to over-index and try to beat that play. I can win on the next turn. So let's focus on that win con. I don't suspect Terapagos is ever going to get an attack off. Let's see it. Oh, they protect. That's interesting. That's really interesting. So what's the Tornadus doing then? It's not even setting up Tailwind. That's massive. Well, at this point, I can just set up Tailwind and then move on, right? Do I even need to set up Tailwind? No, setting up Tailwind is the safest way to do this. I was just thinking about it. Tailwind is the safest way. There's no need to introduce variation here. I could use, what's it called? I could use Fake Tears and set up the Chi-Yu, but it's just not worth the effort that that's going into it. Specs, Starstorm's going to do most of the damage I need. Yeah, there it is. That's... Boom, Psychic. If they'd done that last turn, then the game becomes a little bit more interesting. It's certainly what I expected them to do. I was kind of expecting that I was going to have to take one attack from Tornadus to get this position. And with the benefit of hindsight, that's actually a really bad position for me. So I'm actually quite lucky to be here when it's all said and done. I might as well actually no, I should Moonblast to reduce the chance that anything goes wrong. Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse moves first. Boom. That's game. Lovely. Wow. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. And with that, I can conclude the first episode of this rental team series. I'll come up with a name later. Hell, I'll spitball right now. Weekly Rentals. Rentals.com.au. Testing out cool teams on the ladder. Dear God help me, I need experience. I don't know. Something like that. Dear God help me, I need experience has a bit of a ring to it, actually. I might. Okay, I've locked that in, chat. We are using that name. That is going to be a great name. Anyone, any objections, put it in the comments. Not my problem. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Tune in next week for another episode of this. Some point next week, there should be a Mario Wonder episode as well. Get hyped for that. But aside from that, thanks for watching. Have a good night.